Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/Tales from Retail. And today we have a new set of great stories about crazy people. But before we start, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. I am a ma'am. Slap. I worked at a high-fashion retail store that had a continual flow of older, uppity Southern women. I've always referred to my clients in 4 ways. Sir, gentleman, young lady, and miss. I've been in high-end customer service long enough to know that terms like young lady and miss is found charming, especially to our older clientele that hasn't been called a young lady in 4 decades. Our checkout counters are a little higher, so I have to reach up a bit when I give them a pen and the receipt to sign. Now, this lady was about 60 years old and as Southern uppity as they come. I hand her the receipt and pen simultaneously, and I say, "Would you sign the bottom line, miss?" And she slaps me, like a nun slaps a kid's hand with a ruler. I stand there completely stunned. Did this woman just slap me? She sternly says, "I am not a miss. I am a ma'am." The only words I can think to whisper are, sorry? I now have to wrap up her items and bring them around the checkout counter to her. "Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a wonderful day, ma'am." So thankful to be done with that mess and getting over just being slapped in my own store, I see my manager approaching her. The evil old woman, EOW, stopped to look at a few things before she left. My manager said, "Excuse me, but I've had several customers and associates tell me that you hit my associate." "Hit? No, I slapped her. She disrespected me and had to be put in her place." "So you did hit her?" "Yes, I have a title and it's not miss. I shouldn't have to teach manners." "Miss, I will not tolerate verbal abuse, and I definitely will not tolerate physical abuse of my staff. We have your information on file along with a security tape if she decides to press charges. I have to ask you to leave the store at once, and your business is no longer welcome here." "This is ridiculous. I'm never coming in here again." "Yeah, that's the point of banning you. Have a great day." "Miss." Never saw that crazy uppity bee again. And our next story. Don't want to pay $200 for your gas? Enjoy paying $8,000 for a new dock. I worked at a small marina on a lake during the summer from when I was 17 all the way until I graduated college and moved away. For the most part, it was a summer job every high school or college student dreams of. My boss was super laid back, most of my customers were super rich, nice retirees that tipped well, and if there were no customers, I could read, mess around on my phone, swim in the lake, etc. To this day, it was the most enjoyable job I've ever had. For the most part, my customers were in a good mood when they came to get gas for their boats. I can count the number of irate/bad customers that I've had over the course of 6 years on both my hands. This customer is the only one that I ever had that tried to get away without paying. And it didn't end well for them. So I was manning the marina by myself that day. It was still off-season, pre-Memorial Day, and we were only open on weekends. Most people were starting to take their boats out of storage and business was super slow. It was nearing closing time and I had a whopping total of 3 customers come by over the course of the day. Didn't make a lot in tips. I didn't really mind though, as I'd brought along my DS and had spent the time playing Pokemon. I'm just about to head inside to start closing for the day when I see a boat speeding along towards the dock. Now my boss's rule for taking customers at the end of the day was take them at your discretion, which basically translated to take them if you want or turn them away, I really don't care. I didn't have anything better to do, so I decided to stay open just a little late and help this guy out. I got a little excited when I noticed that this guy, let's call him Mr. Mingy Moneybags or Mr. MM, had a really fancy new wake boat. The people who own these things are usually filthy rich and tip well, as wake boats usually have monstrous gas tanks that can hold 30 to 60 gallons of gas. My car, for reference, holds about 15 gallons. Their bills are usually very high. So Mr. MM pulls up to the dock, and I helped moor his boat. I then start filling it up. I make myself comfy while I do this, as Mr. MM said his boat takes 50 gallons and was almost empty. So it would take a while to fill it. This was back in 2013 when gas was still super pricey, and we only sold ethanol-free gas, so the price was just over $4 per gallon. Mr. MM complains to me about the price, and I just shrugged, saying, "I'm not the one who decides what the prices are." He grows more and more agitated as the bill keeps climbing. I ask him if he's sure that he wants to fill it up all the way. He just gives me a clipped "yeah" and continues to stare at the numbers ticking up on the pump. Finally, 47 gallons of gas later, Mr. MM's boat is filled and his bill comes out to just over $190. It was the most expensive bill I'd ever seen up to that point. I turn to him and ask how he's going to pay. He makes a show of patting his pockets and looking around his boat for a while. I just raise my eyebrows. He finally turns to me and says he forgot his wallet. Now, I have had people forget to bring money before, and I'm usually very understanding about it. What I'll usually do is hang on to something of theirs as collateral. Usually a driver's license, sometimes their car keys or phone. I put it in the lockbox and wait for them to go home and grab their wallets. Pretty much everyone who owns a boat on this lake also lives on or near the lake, so it's never been an issue. Something that I also did that I didn't tell the customers that I was doing was writing down their boat's tag number. If they didn't pay by the end of the day, I could give the tag number to security and they could pull up their boat registration, which had their name, address, the works. Up to this day, I had never had to report a customer to security. When Mr. MM states that he doesn't have his wallet, I quickly glance at the tag on the side of his boat and jot down the numbers. I then address Mr. MM. Me. Well, sir, it's the end of the day, so if you could hurry home and get your wallet ASAP, I would appreciate it. I'll also need something of yours as collateral. No, that'll take too long. Do you have a phone on you? Yeah, in my purse. Well, if you could just give me your phone, I can call my wife. She can drive down here with my wallet in no time. This answer satisfies me, so I turn to go into the building and grab my phone. While I'm doing this, I hear him turn his engine on. Not too unusual, so I keep going on my way. Then I hear a massive vroom, followed by a loud crunch. I whip around and see this guy speeding down the lake. He had pulled a runner on me. But because this man is apparently an idiot, he also forgot to untie his boat from the dock completely. He got the rope off the cleat next to him, but had apparently forgotten about the one tied to the back of his boat, which I had let some slack in. Now, normally, the cleats on the boat would lose in this situation, or maybe the rope would snap, but our dock was a super old, crappy, splintery mess. So instead, the cleat that was nailed into the dock got pulled completely free, along with an enormous chunk of wood. There was also a huge crack running down the length of the plank. This dumbass was now speeding down the lake with a piece of the dock dragging behind him. There's not really much I can do about Mr. MM now, so I go inside and radio security. I give them the tag number along with a description of him and his boat. I also mention that he damaged the dock and owes almost $200 in gas. They thank me and say they'll get right on it. I then text my boss what happened and send him a picture of the freshly ruined dock. He is pissed and says Mr. MM better be prepared to fix it. I then go inside and finish closing for the day. I had to include a note to finance about why we were almost $200 short for the day and explain that security was working on it. The very next day, my boss calls me. Security had gotten the police involved for theft and destruction of private property. The dock technically belonged to the neighborhood association. They got to him that very same day because, well, of course they did. They had his address. Also, it turns out the guy wasn't even married. He just told me that BS to get me to turn my back. The association threatened to press charges and bring the guy to court unless he agreed to the following terms. 1, he would pay what he owed for the gas. 2, he would be banned from registering a boat on this lake. It was either for 10 or 15 years, I can't really remember. 3, he would pay to completely replace the dock he damaged. Mr. MM apparently belongs to the throw money at problems to make them go away school of thought, or perhaps just realizing that if it went to court, he would probably lose. The whole thing was caught on security camera. He agreed to the terms without much fight. The marina was closed for 3 weeks while the dock was being rebuilt. I returned to work after that to admire our brand spanking new dock. The new dock's planks were composite instead of wood, and we got brand new pilings too, no more splinters. The new dock cost the guy nearly $8,000. To this day, I don't understand why a guy with so much money to throw around got so agitated about paying $200 for gas for a boat that must have cost him well over $60,000. Pay $200 for gas or $8,000 for gas? That's a tough decision. And our little as a dessert. $1.99? The effing sign said $1.29. I work as a cashier at a high-end grocery store. The other day, an older European lady came through my line. I asked how she was doing, if she needed bags, etc. Of course, she doesn't reply, so I start scanning her stuff, then place in bags anyway. A package of radishes scan through and show up as $1.99, and the conversation goes as follows. Her. Stop right there. Why are they $1.99? That's the usual price. The effing sign said $1.29. Okay, well, I'll call someone. The produce manager comes over and tells her they're $1.99. This is effing absurd. I need to see the sign. You have to honor the price on the sign. I want them free, or this isn't fair. The manager takes her over to the radishes, and it turns out she was looking at the wrong effing sign. The price was actually $1.99. She then comes back, pays for the rest of her stuff, throws the radishes in my face, and leaves. I later found out that she comes in about 3 times a week and argues with the employees to get free stuff. She's apparently made my coworker cry on 2 separate occasions. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.